Welcome, folks. Thank you for joining me today. You know, this is going to be an extremely unusual video, and it deals with my personal health. So if those of you that don't want to talk about that kind of stuff, if you want to click away, feel free. It's quite all right. Those of you that are interested, I'm just going to share a few things that happened to me. And some of you that may have been wondering where things are with me, I'm just going to bring you up to date, okay? I will start at the beginning. I did try to do this video once before, a few days ago. Well, hey there, folks. But realized with that video, it was not going to work out very well. But today I decided I'd give it another whirl. If you notice, I'm moving very, very stiffly today. And that's because a few days ago, I underwent an emergency spinal surgery. And they gave me a lovely haircut. I'll turn a little bit. I don't know if you can see the haircut or not, but I'll throw a picture up and I'll try to obscure the staples that are in my back. I got 12 staples. I had a tube stuck up in there so drainage would happen and all that kind of stuff. So I've been kind of laid up and very sore. And I'm going to share a few things that hopefully will be helpful for you if you find yourself in either a similar situation or situations where emergencies occur. A few nights ago, about 12:30, I woke up and I had like a real stiff neck. Shoulders and neck were kind of sore, and actually I went to bed with them sore, but I woke up and they were even more sore. It's like, man, I must have slept funny on the pillow or something. So I got up, took a couple of Advil to try to shrink any inflammation or get that soreness away so I could sleep. And in the amount of time it took for me to do that and get back to bed, the pain went from just uncomfortable, like a 1 or a 2. It immediately ratcheted up to about a 12. And for me, it takes a lot. Although when it does hit hard, I get like a little baby. Because, man, I couldn't manage it. Psychologically, I couldn't manage it. I couldn't compartmentalize the pain and put it someplace else so that I could relax and rest. It got really bad. And then accompanied with that, as I laid in bed trying to manage that pain, I noticed my arms and legs started flailing around, and kind of uncontrollably, just kind of like, whoa, why did my arm just go do that? And man, my back hurts, my neck hurts, my shoulders are killing me. And then all of a sudden my legs start kicking. And my wife, she's very calm about it all. She was dealing with it quite well. I was, not overly concerned. It just was kind of like, oh man, maybe I'm just trying to find comfort so that it wouldn't hurt. Well, and we kind of talked about, do we need to go to the doctor because of this pain? And maybe you should, let's get up and get in the car and maybe go to the ER. And as it turns out, that probably wouldn't have been a good idea, because if you're a walk-in ER, at least around here, you don't get any attention. You really don't. Okay, so fast forward maybe about another half hour, I realize my right arm from the shoulder down and my right leg from the hip down is paralyzed. I cannot move it. And I would take my left hand and pick up my right arm and it would just plop. Try to lift my leg with my left hand, because that was about the only thing that I could use. Plop, it would flop down. And if I try to turn in bed or do anything like that, I couldn't, because my whole right side is now lagging behind or not moving at all. I could feel things, I could touch, and I could feel myself touching my right hand, for example, my right arm wouldn't move. And then it's like, uh-oh, even if we wanted to drive to emergency, I can't get there. Then I started to panic a little bit. and I'm anxiety ratcheted up quite a bit. I can't move now. Then my left leg started to get less mobile. I couldn't move it much. And, even talking about it right now is freaking me out because it was a weird, weird thing. My left hand was the only thing I had, and it was starting to fade. And I could barely open the hand. I could barely move things around. By that point, 911 was called. EMTs got to the house, and I'm completely immobile in bed, although I could feel everything. So imagine laying there, not being able to move, and everything is in pain, and I can't find comfort in any which way because I can't move. I can't rub anything. I can't turn, nothing. My wife is trying to help. It's not working. And it's at a 12. Keep that in mind, okay? EMTs show up. They can't get the gurney into the room, just the way the house is constructed and whatnot. EMTs asked, and this is of no fault to them, I got to bring this up. They were two young ladies in their 20s, much smaller than me. I'm not a big guy. I'm like 5'10", 150 pounds, so I'm, not a big heavy dude, but now we're talking about a guy that can't move, can't help himself. And we got two young ladies that are, 5'5", 120 pounds, soaking wet, doing everything they possibly can to get this carcass on a emergency gurney, basically a tarp, roll me onto that stupid tarp, and then pick me up that way and stick me on the ambulance gurney. They did a great job. Okay, anyway, get into the ambulance. I'm looking out the back window. She's asking me how I'm doing. There's a driver, of course, and then there's someone right behind me the whole time. And it's a bit of a bumpy ride, and she apologized, and I said, "Yeah, no problem. Just get me to the hospital." And it's about a 20-minute ride to the hospital because I live kind of remote from downtown. This is where it got a little weird. The driver was looking at the GPS map to get us to the particular hospital we were going to. And she took a wrong turn. So now we're driving literally out in the sticks where all the cows are. Because I can see now out that back window, oh my gosh, she just went there. And even the person that was with me said, "Where are you going? We need to get over here." And she goes, "Well, I'm following the map," because they're familiar with our local area. The hospital is someplace else, and they evidently haven't been there before. But it was a bit of a rough ride, bumpy ride. I would say that was a miracle. The Advil that I took and the bumpy ride, as a result of both of those things, I believe, I began to get movement, not feeling, I had feeling the whole time, but movement back to my legs and my arms and all my extremities. I will mention one thing. When I was laying there in bed, it started to get very difficult to breathe. It was very laborious. I couldn't take a breath, and some may think that maybe that was, anxiety. Could have been. But it was a labor to get breath. So I was, paralyzation was beginning to set in. Some of you that may have some medical history may kind of suspect what is going on. Anyway, get to the hospital. They had radioed all this in advance, and the triage doc that was there, everyone, it was like, boom, they're on me. And can you move? And I said, "I'm starting to get my movement back." And he was like, "Really?" And they got me sat up just a little bit, grab my hands, do this. Because, yeah, you're a little weak in one arm, but yeah, you're pushing, things are looking good. Okay. And you had no movement? And the EMTs confirmed, yeah, nothing. And they're like, "Wow. Okay, so I'm going to push down on your head." Which was like, what? And he says, "Yeah, turn your head. I'm going to push down." And it was like, oh my God, it went from a 12 to like a 15, dude. And he goes, "Okay, sorry about that, but I had to test it. Now turn your other way. It's going to happen again." And he pushed down. And I was like, God, that hurt. And he goes, I think I know what's wrong. I'm getting a hold of a neurosurgeon. We're going to get you admitted as soon as possible. That was the triage guy. He knew what was happening. It's like, oh my God. So that's a little emotional for me because I kind of believe that to be the next miracle. First, I get my mobility back, and then the guy at the triage knows exactly what's happening, which freaked me out. He didn't say much. He just says, I'm going to call the neurosurgeon. By this time now, it's 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock maybe. It could have been 5 o'clock in the morning. And my particular neurosurgeon, if you need a neurosurgeon, I know the guy, okay? Comment below. I'll give you his name. If you're out here in Texas, this guy, he also has a practice in California too. The guy is good. Anyway, 5 o'clock in the morning, he's already up and he's already doing rounds. My triage doc said, yeah, I'm going to call this doc. He does these things all the time. You're going to be in great hands. Everyone knew this. Dr. Hamilton is his name. And thank you, Dr. Hamilton, by the way. So I'm in ER. I'm kind of waiting around. They're running some tests, running blood, doing all this stuff. Get an x-ray to begin with. And things aren't very clear. No sooner does that happen, it's around 5:30 or so. My neurosurgeon walks in. He goes, I saw the x-rays. I mean, I may be getting a little bit of this out of order, or not out of order, but a little differently because my memory at that time is a little foggy. Anyway, took some x-rays. He said, yeah, we're going to get you in for a CT scan. We're going to get you in for an MRI, but those things are going to take a little bit of time. But we're going to have those things done. That way I can see exactly what needs to be done. But it looks like, and then he told me what he thought it might be. But he said, don't get your hopes up. Let's get all these tests first. So now we're looking at sometime mid-morning. I'm still in the ER. They're all hoping that I could get admitted into the room. But fortunately, or maybe unfortunately, and I think fortunately, I stayed in the ER room that they had me in, room number 6. It just made things a whole lot easier. As a matter of fact, the doc told me, he says, yeah, it's kind of a good thing that you stayed there because it made getting around to places a whole lot easier rather than sending you upstairs to, someplace else and then having to move you from there. So that was a blessing in disguise. Finally got into a room, got my CT scan, which put me on the right floor for the CT. He looked at the CT and he goes, yep, you have a spontaneous cervical epidural hematoma. Basically, for no apparent reason whatsoever, no underlying condition, nothing like that, I developed a blood clot underneath, in the sheath, underneath the sheath where my spinal cord is. Between that and the spinal cord, there was a blood clot that formed. No reason why. They don't know why. It just happened. And it was putting pressure on my spinal cord. That pressure is what caused first the pain, and as the thing started to grow, it caused the paralysis. So hearing that, it's like, okay, now what do we do? And he goes, surgery, dude. That's what he told me. I can't let you leave here, even if it starts getting better. I mean, obviously you're getting better because you're getting mobility back, but I can't release you. I'd feel bad because I have a feeling if I released you and this stayed in there, you'd go home and this would happen again and you'd be back. We got you here now. Let's take care of it. What do you say? And I looked at him and I saw the confidence in his eyes. And I went, let's do this. He goes, good. All right, we'll get this done. We'll do this a little later today. And I'm thinking, whoa. Here it is, about within 12 hours of this happening, I'm having surgery, which is pretty darn quick to be able to evaluate. Okay, here's the other miracle. He said, thank goodness you took an Advil because it took the pressure off. Advil is an anti-inflammatory. It took some of the inflammation down that was probably going on in the epidura where the spinal column is, and it took some of that pressure away, and it probably helped to move the hematoma or the blood clot out of the way of where it was pressing, or maybe it pressed less, and maybe that bumpy ride helped move things around enough that you got your feeling back. He told me it's only a 1% chance that you were going to get your mobility back that he sees. Then he tells me, because look, in my career, he has a 35-year career in this. He's done 27,000 of these types of surgeries. And out of all the ones that go into paralysis, only 1% ever come back. I'm like, oh my God. God performed a miracle. Wow. I should be paralyzed right now, folks. At least 99% chance. But I'm not. And even the doc was like, whoa, this is pretty surprising. But this is a good thing. And he got pumped up. He was encouraged. We're going to go in there and take care of this thing. Take that hematoma out of there, and you should be fine. He told me exactly what needed to be done. He says, I'm going to put an incision on your neck about this long. That's about, 7 inches long. You probably already saw the picture. I don't want to show the pictures. If you guys are interested, I'll throw a picture somewhere, put a link down below, and you can go take a look. But then he's going to remove the lamina, which is on my C3, C2, C3. He won't really know until he actually goes in and takes a look to see which would be the good angle to get at. As it turns out, he took out the lamina, which is basically a vertebrae. Not the whole thing, but just a piece of bone. Cut it, pull the bone out so he has a clear shot at the spinal cord. And you can go in, slit the epidura, go in, clip, cauterize, burn, stitch, put it all back. He didn't put the bone back, though. He said he didn't need to. Okay. All the while, he didn't have to cut any muscles, which is good. He just took, I guess, forceps. What do they call those things? That spread you? Yeah, did the spreader, spread all the muscles, and that's why I have like lots of soreness right now. Hurts. Spread the muscles out, did all that, pull that thing out in an hour and a half ish, maybe upwards towards 2 hours. I'm all stitched up, and I'm back in recovery, and all I see is Dr. Hamilton's face, like right here, and going, success. You're going to be fine. You need some rest. You'll wake up. We'll talk later. And I kind of remember him saying that as I'm coming out of the anesthesia. Oh, by the way, this is the first time I've ever been under a general anesthesia. I've had some other procedures done, and all of them with either a local, or I have had a thoracic epidural numbing of the bottom half of my body because I had some surgery down there, and that was kind of an emergency thing too. That was about 14, 15 years ago. But I was awake for the whole procedure. I just couldn't feel anything. But evidently with this anesthesia, when they shut your body down, I tell you, if you've never had it, and many of you might have, but if you've never had it, I'm sitting here and I'm talking to my anesthesiologist, I'm talking to the doc, I'm in the operating room, I'm looking around. It's fine, I'm doing fine. I'm relaxed. There's people there. These people are pros. They know what they're doing. All of a sudden, he says, okay, you're going to feel a little bit of coldness. It may taste kind of funny, but I'm shooting you with a little bit of magnesium, a little bit of this, and just keep breathing. I got oxygen there. I'm sure he's got some put 'em out gas on there as well, but he didn't tell me that. And then he goes, how you feeling? I said, I'm feeling pretty good, but I'll see you on the other side. And he goes, good. And everything went gray. I didn't close my eyes. I don't remember closing my eyes. Just things went gray. I'm sure they taped my eyes down. And then I wake up, I open my eyes, and Doc is talking to me. It shut everything down. Not a good thing, because I went 3 days because of an emergency surgery, they didn't evacuate my bowels. Sorry to bring all that kind of detail. But so there was still stuff stuck in there. And let me tell you, 3 days later, it still was. I was able to, through some laxatives and all that kind of stuff, evacuate a bowling ball. It was after that I started feeling better. So it was about 3 days of recovery. Narcotics, I pretty much stopped that. They gave it to me while I was at the hospital, which was only one day. They had me walking right after surgery. After recovery, got me up to my room. I get off the gurney. I'm walking to my bed at the hospital. They laid me back, got all that done. So I'm walking right away, and they know that I need to do that, so I get things kind of moving. But everything was asleep. Okay, enough of that. A day later, so that was, So a day later, I slept that whole day, kind of rested, got up a few times with help, got around, walked around a little bit. Things are a little sore here. I'm gonna have to close this. I was home in a day and walking around and doing well. Got the bowling ball out. This has now been a couple of days after that. I'm feeling way better. Stuff's moving. I still have staples in my neck. A day or so ago, I got the drainage tube. That looked weird. I looked like Neo from The Matrix. I got, it's all kind of a wrinkly back of the neck thing with staples or these things on me and a tube stuck inside my neck. That got pulled out. Everything went well. Doc said, "You're looking good." That was a couple days afterwards. So here I am. Kind of leads me till now. Another week, I get the staples out. I should have a little more mobility. I mean, I can do this kind of thing, but it's just way sore. Oh, the halo. I didn't know about, I knew about it because he told me that's what was going to happen, but I was unconscious at the time. They put this halo and it, connects here and up here so that they can flip you upside down because I got to work on the back of my neck. So I'm laying on my back. They put the halo in. They put 4, maybe 6, maybe 8 pins in your head. Shove them in there. I still have scabs and bruises to show it, and you can't see because the hair's in the way. But they immobilize you. Oh my gosh, I probably took, it wasn't good. That and it's still, I got some. It hurts. So recovery has been very good. Quite a bit sore, but I chalk it up to, I like sore better than not because pain tells you are alive. And if I can feel it, I know I'm here. If I can't feel it, there's probably a problem. And it's either the narcotics or I'm paralyzed. And let me tell you, stay away from narcotics, folks. It's not good for you in a lot of different ways. I'm just taking some Tylenol to kind of keep things under a threshold of not being able to do much. But I'm sleeping well, drinking lots of fluids, peeing a lot, eating. I'm doing well. I'll be fine. That's my story. If you have any questions about any of this, you can leave comments, leave some questions down below. I'll be happy to answer them. I'm not at the computer a whole lot because sitting at my work desk here, I tire like right now. So I'm going to close this video up and I'm going to just go sit down in a reclined sort of position, watch a little more of the Olympics and rest a little and then maybe go for a walk. And I've been doing some walking out in the yard and all that stuff. So I think I'm going to be okay. Content, if you're still interested in watching some of my videos, I've got a few things in the catalog that were kind of backed up, some projects that I was doing and I just haven't rolled out. So there'll be a few things. I'll interject from time to time how I'm doing. All right, so stay tuned. That's all I got. I love you all. Thank you. God bless you. God bless America. And may America bless God. And oh, by the way, God bless Dr. Hamilton. God bless my wife. God bless all the people that were involved in getting me back on my feet after this trauma, this spontaneous cervical epidural hematoma. Came out of the blue. Still no reason why. Oh, that was the other thing. Out of 27,000 of these kinds of things my doc has dealt with, I'm his first spontaneous. As a matter of fact, the triage doc, he said, "Oh, this is a spontaneous," and he said it too. He said, "This is the first one I've seen." They've evidently seen this before, but because it comes with a underlying other condition we can talk about there. You can ask questions. Maybe I'll share some of that later. But the spontaneous thing, 0.1% of 100,000 people have it spontaneously. That's 1 in a million. I'm 1 in a million to have this. It's kind of interesting. So I was my doc's first spontaneous. That may be why he was so excited. It's like, wow, this is my first. I don't know. He's a great guy. You might have your comments about modern healthcare, but when you get a doctor like this that is passionate about what he does and knows exactly what he's doing and cares about patients, and also kind of speaks to the healthcare system as something that maybe creates problems more than solves them, I have some confidence in this guy. So my hope is that if you have issues and you have a doctor, find one that will be very proactive to care for you and is as passionate as the guy that I had. That's it, folks. See you at the next video. See you next time.